I have a total of 657 books, and 373 of them are unread. I moved across country 2 years ago, and when I was packing all of my books, I had this not great feeling about my collection. I was lugging down about 30 boxes, and most of them were unread. And I just thought to myself that no, I don't want to lug all of my books when most of them are unread and are not lugging my favorites. And it did make me feel good about my book collection, so we're trying to turn that around. Right now, majority of my books are at my mom's place in Perth while I am in Melbourne. I do want to bring my books to me to Melbourne, but before that, again, I want to make sure I'm bringing all the books that I love instead of majority of them unread. Right now, from the total of books I own, 43% of them are read, and this is where this project comes in. Welcome to episode 1 of the 80% project, where I'm trying to read down my physical TBR and get my read book percentage up. You've seen a lot of these read down their physical TBR videos. There is Becca's Shelve It or Scrap It, Steph's Keep It or Eat It, Gavin's Emboss or Toss, Olivia Reads a Latte, Read It on a Hollet, and Emily Fox, Read It on a Hollet. There is so many out there, and of course this is my variation of it. This project is definitely going to be my focus and forefront for the foreseeable future. It is going to be the thing that I work on until I reach 80% read books on my shelves. And I wanted to create this vlog series because I think gamifying me reading my physical TBR, my unread books, will definitely keep me motivated and of course entertaining for you, but mainly it's to keep me motivated and interested in my unread books. And as I said, majority of my books are across the country, but I will be sourcing how to read them through my library most of the time so that we can read these books. And I understand that's a bit weird because we can't really see visually that my read books are increasing compared to my unread books. We will come to the point where I will have my books with me. I'm slowly bringing it over whenever I go back or my mom's mailing it to me. But once I am happy with how much books I'm going to bring, and most of them are my favorites and the ones I want to keep, then we can visually see. But again, this is all work in progress, so we'll make it up as we go along. I do have a spreadsheet that has all the books on there, all my unread books and read books to keep track. And in episode 1, we're going to do the classic spin the wheel that is going to pick the books I read in this video. Each episode I think will be different. We'll probably revisit the wheel once in a while just to, keep it interesting. I think the wheel causes a lot more chaos and I have a lot of intimidating books on my shelves for sure, especially epic fantasy series that I have. But either way, I hope you enjoy this video series, and let's get into the first spin. Let us bring up the wheel of doom. I'm actually just procrastinating and not wanting to do this because there are some scary books in here, like The Way of Kings. Yeah, I am scared. I'm very, very scared. Okay, so here we have the wheel. I will put it over here so it's easier because, the sun. Anyway, here is the wheel of all the books that are unread, all 373 of them. Now we're gonna see what is the first book that I am going to read. All right, first spin. Are you serious? This is actually, oh my god. No, you don't understand. You don't understand. Guys, no, this is, oh my god, is this fate? I don't understand this. I just finished Zodiac Academy 1, The Awakening, this morning. And you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to pick up book 2. And it's like the gods listen to me. Thank you. Can get to read book 2, guys. Oh my god. You don't understand how happy I am. I know it's been book 6 Zodiac Academy, but I do own book 1 to book 8. I just marked book 1 read this morning. So the next in the series technically is book 2. So the first book in this video we're going to read is Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae. This is on Kindle Unlimited. I think at one point I will definitely do an episode of like all the sequels that I own that I need to get to, because that would also be really fun. And you know what? The wheel is doing good today. The wheel is doing good today. I'm not sure about the next one though. I'm already afraid. Also, I'm gonna be getting a really fun package tomorrow. It's an early birthday present from my mom to me. I'll definitely show you because I'm very, very excited. I've been thinking about it for a while. I think I mentioned it in one of the vlogs this year, or like just late last year, that I wanted this. I'm finally getting it. Today's such a good day. You know what? I was really anxious today, but today's turning out to be a good day. I'm about to go and finish up my day and then get started on this. Welcome to the video, guys. Welcome to the 80% project.
Thought that I would be a bit at peace by now. Yeah, you're lying in the shadows of my room. Oh, always heard your voice, I forget the sound now. You're awfully quiet while I cry out for you. Oh, I know you don't have much to say, yeah, that's clear now. But I won't keep on giving you grace while my heart's broken. But you take the time away to clear your...
Yesterday, I got a fun package, I think I mentioned it, and I got a Kobo Clara color for an early birthday present for my mother, and I spent literally the entire day fiddling with it, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'm gonna go return this and get the black and white one. So the issue was, I was trying to, if you don't know, in Australia you can't borrow library books through your Kindle, you can only do it through a Kobo, and I was trying to sign in to Overdrive, which is like the library app, because I have multiple different library cards, and I spent hours trying to troubleshoot to sign into Overdrive because it didn't want to. So I had to settle in to, when I need to borrow something, I log into that individual library when I need to, which is a pain, but you know what, it's fine. But also, when I was reading, I wasn't happy with the screen, because if you don't know, with the Kobo Clara color, the screen quality is lower than a regular black and white because of the color filter. I knew that going in, but I didn't think it would be that bad or it would bother me as much. So I am going to go return the color and get the black and white one, which I'm very excited. Maybe the black and white one, since it's a different Kobo, it might sign into my Overdrive. If not, it's fine. I've made my peace with it. At least I can still borrow library books from my e-reader, which is great. I don't have to jump through so many hoops trying to get the library book into my Kindle just so I can read it. And also, don't worry, I'm not like stealing ebooks. I just wanted to read on my Kindle instead of my phone, and once I'm done with the library book on my Kindle, I'd like delete it. I just literally just wanted a device where I could read it from. And yeah, I love the size of the e-reader though, like so tiny. I love it. I named it Coco because I like to name my devices after flowers or plants. My Kindle's called Poppy. Coco is another one of my addiction, which is chocolate. Anyway, I'm gonna go return this, but I thought I'd let you know. After I sort this out, reading will be done.
Well, you'll never know, you'll never know if I'm fine. Am I alright? Well, you'll never know, you'll never know. You took this path on your own time without giving us a try. So we'll never know, we'll never know. You came into my life at the right point, and now you're leaving when it gets hard. Should've kept it straight from the jump. Why'd we come this far to get this far? I should leave it alone, 'cause there's no proof of you staying. Your mind was made up.
Alright, here she is, my little Kobo. I am going to collect all little Polaroids and put it at the back of my Kobo. Just what I feel at the moment for decorating it. Don't really feel like stickers. My Kindle has all the stickers, so I'm fine with that. And I have my little Polaroid of me and my cousin, and it's so cute. I also just realized I didn't elaborate what I said about the Kobo Clara color screen. So with the screen of the color one, it has like the normal e-ink screen, but it has like the color filter on it, and because of the color filter, the screen is more darker, more pixelated. Like you can tell it's a screen. Because if you have a Kindle, you know that the e-ink screen is like smooth, there's no glare, nothing. But I felt like the color one was a screen. There was, you know, a glare and like very pixelated. But I am beyond happy with this screen because it's just a normal e-ink screen that's black and white. I still need to sign in to my library because I am reading Wrath at the moment by John Gwynne. I'm reading this series, a part of Catch Up Book Club that's hosted by Becca and the Books, and I will be joining the live show for Wrath. So I need to finish it before the end of the month, and I'm slowly reading it, and I've been reading it through my library, so I need to sign into my Overdrive, which I will do later because I want to finish watching honestly, Becca's just around my life now. I'm watching Becca's unboxing video and I want to charge this fully before I sign into my library and everything and then read some of Wrath today. But also, I need to put a pop socket on this, and I actually have like a magnetic ring on my Kindle so I can use this pop socket on here. And then also if I put a magnetic ring, I don't know if you can see it, like a magnetic ring on here, then I can use my pop socket here as well, which I do have a spare, thank God. So I will be putting the magnetic ring on the Kobo for sure. When I spoke to you last, I was like, all right, let me just sit down, start Ruthless Fae for about an hour before I go about my day. Tell me why. It's 3 hours later and I'm still reading this. I'm afraid I am addicted, and I'm afraid that me reading the second book makes me just want to keep going in the series, but alas, we're not here for that in this video. I can only hope and pray that the wheel gods are in my favor and gives me another Zodiac Academy book, but I fear I'm not that lucky, you know? But I am on chapter 8, which is page 120. I'm 22% into the book, and I'm still really liking this series so far. I am very surprised that I do like this series because of the bullying aspect. It's not bothering me as much as I thought it would, which is great. So Zodiac Academy follows two of our main characters, Tori and Darcy Vega. They are changelings, so their parents switched them at birth or when they were babies with two human twins, and they were put in the mortal realm to hide them from the Fae Society. And now present day we have the twins trying to slum it out in the mortal world. They've been through a lot of foster homes and foster parents. They grew up tough. So now there is someone that just came into the mortal world and told them everything about their heritage. They're the Vega twins and they are heirs to the Celestial Kingdom, and they need to go to Zodiac Academy to learn about their magic, control their powers, and then take the throne, because the throne has been controlled by the Celestial Council since their parents died, and now the Faes of the Celestial Council have heirs that will take over the throne, basically, because the Vega twins have thought to be dead. And now Tori and Darcy go to Zodiac Academy to, again, learn about their magic and stuff like that, and they encounter the heirs of the Celestial Council, 4 boys, and they are threatened by them, so they end up bullying them so that the Vega twins will give up and leave Zodiac Academy and go back to the mortal world. So I thought the bullying aspect of that would bother me, but no, it's still definitely like horrific. I don't condone bullying of any kind, so it's still horrific to read about, but it didn't bother me as much. I think it's because like I'm not as invested into the characters, at least in the first book, to like be so bothered by it. But either way, I think the writing is very simple. It's very colloquial. Like, it's nothing like a typical fantasy book that you would read, which is fine. It doesn't bother me so much. Sometimes there is a little bit of the cringe factor, but again, not so much. The thing that I really enjoy about the series is, 1, the characters. I do like the characters. 2, the academia aspect of this. Like, that is my favorite part. Like, I love it when we have an academia settings and we're like going through the school, the classes, and like all the lessons that they're learning. And the Twisted Sisters are doing the world building that way. So we're learning about the world as the Vega twins are, because they're not familiar with the Fae world. So they're learning everything from scratch. I really enjoyed the class aspects of this. Like, in this book, we had a lesson about nymphs. So The plot of this so far is that, like I said, the Vega twins are here in Zodiac Academy to learn about their powers. And there's also a string of murders happening, and all the Faes think that nymphs are behind this. They're kind of magical creatures where they kill and drain a Fae's power. That's how they have magic, and that's how they use magic. They're like dark creatures. But we're finding out more about the nymphs in the class, which again, really great. And it's definitely character driven as well. We have more POVs in book 2. In book 1 it was just Darcy and Tori, and in book 2 we also have some POVs from the boys. Now let's talk about the boys. There are 4 heirs. It's not reverse harem or anything like that. At least I don't think it is. But my favorite of the boys is definitely Darius Acrux, my dragon man, my dragon dark broody man. Like, that is my weakness. Dark haired, broody, moody, covered in tattoos, tall, dragon is also a plus. Guy with wings, also plus. But my least favorite would be Seth, I think, Wolf Boy, which is definitely very surprising because I thought I really like werewolves, but I think my mind has changed over the years. I'm not it. I think it was just Jacob from Twilight, honestly. But learning more about werewolves from different medias like the TV shows. Actually, no. I like TV shows movie werewolves. I don't like book werewolves because I feel like book werewolves skew towards possessiveness and like more animalistic characteristics, whereas TV is not so much, because I love Teen Wolf. Derek Hale, my man. Another character that I really like is Orion, Professor Orion. There's a bit of a taboo relationship going on there, but I really like Orion. I think so far he is my favorite because I'm still warming up to Darius, you know, like he is my man, I'm sure, because of all the things I just listed, but like we're not delving so much into him. However, we just got a chapter from Darius's point of view. Very interesting. I love that we're getting to know more of these boys. I want to see if it's just like bullying to bully or is there something else behind it, you know? And we're finding that out here. In terms of our 2 main characters, Tori and Darcy, I do like them. It's hard to tell them apart, but I feel like as I read, it gets easier because obviously the twins are very similar. But I want to know more about their personality and what makes them 2 separate people. And I'm seeing that for sure in the second book. I just kind of need more to like warm up to them and like love them. I think from the 2, Tori is definitely my favorite. She's more of a feisty, angry main character, and then Darcy is a little bit more like subdued. She's a little bit more demure, but I feel that, you know, with the bullying and everything, she will definitely harden up, and I can't wait to see what revenge these 2 take against the boys because I'm sure it's coming. Ow. I really do hope like the wheel spins for Zodiac Academy again. Can you imagine if that happens again? Girl, I'm 72% into Ruthless Fae, and I'm still really enjoying it. This one definitely leans into more character interactions instead of plot. We're meeting new characters, we're getting new character POVs, we're getting POVs from the heirs, the boys, and I really like that insight we get into them. I'm enjoying getting into their heads and their personality. I don't know what they're putting in these books. All I want to do is read this book, but I have other priorities, unfortunately, and all I want to do is just keep on continuing on with the series, but I'm gonna have some restraint. It's very hard. Try not to continue on with the series until I've read, you know, other books that I need to read before diving back into the series. But really enjoying myself, and like I said before, like the writing is fine, it's cringy at times. I've discovered that I think the authors are from the UK, but the characters in here come from Chicago, so they're American. But the language that is used in these 2 books so far, they have an overlap of American words and UK slang, which is kind of throwing me off. Because why is she calculating things in kilometers? Why are they using words like rock up? Because that's not an American word. That is a UK word, an Australian word. Like you rock up somewhere. Americans just say I showed up here instead of I rocked up there. It's really weird. Yeah, the writing's not great, but I don't know what it is about the writing that is making me obsessed and wanting to continue this. And I think really it's the characters in this. They're written so compellingly and they have the tropes that I do like that makes me want to read more. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying my time. I'm having a fun, silly, goofy time, and I don't know. if you want to read the series, I would hope that you go into this with very low expectations so that you're pleasantly surprised, because it's really sad to say, but I did have low expectations going into the Zodiac Academy series. But I was pleasantly surprised and I'm having such a good time. And I will say the romance in this, very slow burn. Like, they don't even like each other still. Like, any of the romance that I think that are brewing, nobody likes each other, and I am here for it. So I finished Zodiac Academy 2 Ruthless Fae, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. Like I said, literally this whole entire time, I had such a fun time. I don't know what these authors have put into these books, crack or something, but it just makes me want to read and keep reading, and I'm just hooked. So it is time to pick book 2 for this video series. I am kind of hoping for Zodiac Academy again, but I don't think I'm gonna get lucky twice. But I think I am very excited to see what we're gonna get. I am scared because, again, there's a lot of intimidating books on here, so we'll see what we get. So we have 372 books here, so let's spin. The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. Okay. So, The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. I'm actually lucky with this because we could have gotten a different series from Brandon Sanderson that I'm scared to start. So this one, I believe, is kind of a standalone, but I know it's a series as well, but he hasn't written more books in the series. And I think it is a YA fantasy. I don't have the book with me, so I'm going to have to look into my library so that I can borrow it. But I'm very interested to see how this one goes because my friend Abby really likes this book as well, and she's recommended it to me a few times, so I'm very excited to get into this book. So I'm about 60% into The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. I'm kind of flying through this, but also it's not very long. It's only 370 pages, and it is a YA fantasy, so it's definitely very easy to read, and I'm reading it fast enough. And plus, Brandon Sanderson's writing is very easy to read, very accessible, which is great. So as I said, this is a YA fantasy by Brandon Sanderson. I'm pretty sure this is a first book in his series, but he's never written the second book because this was published in 2013, a very long time ago. And even I can see at the back of the book it says to be continued, but it's been more than 10 years. It's not continued. So I don't know whether to mark this as like a series or a standalone. I think I'll finish the book and then I will decide for sure. We follow our main character Joel, and he's attending a prestigious school, and the only reason why he's in this school is because his father works at this school, and when he died, the principal of this school allowed him to attend the school for free as a favor to his father. And in this school, it's a specialized school for arithmetists. These kids are conscripted at the age of 8, and I'm not sure exactly how the kids are chosen to get these magical powers, but some of them are chosen to get these powers where they can use chalk to create things to life. The magic in this is used to defend from these things called chalklings, where someone has drew something to become alive and they are attacking this particular tower where bad people are being held, or like bad chalklings are being held, and they have arithmetists there at this tower guarding the tower to prevent chalklings or wild chalklings to break through and let the people in the tower or the wild chalklings in the tower out. That part is very vague. It's not really explained, but basically these children are going to school to learn more of the arithmetist magic so they can go into like the military service basically and protect that tower from wild chalklings. They have to do a certain amount of years. But the magic system I think is really, really interesting because of all the chalk magic. It's just not something I've ever read, but it's kind of whimsical a little bit because again, it's a YA fantasy. So like using chalk to make things come to life, kind of whimsical, but then also scary because in this school, students are going missing, like they're being attacked by this mysterious arithmetist. Like, nobody knows who this person is. They're attacking the students using arithmetist magic and then either kidnapping them or murdering them, because we haven't really found the bodies, just a bit of blood. So our main character, Joel, who is a normal child, he wants to be a arithmetist so bad. So he's learned every single thing he can get his hands on arithmetic magic, because arithmetists are very cautious as to who learns their magic, so they kind of separate themselves from just normal humans. There's a lot of sun action happening here. Anyway, Joel is trying to learn more about arithmetic magic, and he is trying to help this arithmetic professor, to find out what's happening about these murders slash kidnappings. And so far I think it's okay. I'm liking it because, you know, it's Brandon Sanderson's writing. I'm very familiar with his writing, and also I've read Skyward, which is a YA sci-fi, so I'm familiar with his YA writing as well, his style of writing. And it's definitely reading a lot on the younger side, so I'm not enjoying myself as much because I've kind of grown out of the younger fiction. So I think I'm enjoying myself. This is okay. I'm really enjoying the magic system because it's really unique, and learning about it. And although some of the things are going over my head because a lot of it is to do with mathematics and geometry. Absolutely hate maths, and ironic thing is I work in finance. But you know what? That's neither here nor there, okay? I think that some of the geometry is going over my head, but it's not the book's fault. It's my fault, honestly, because I'm not interested to learn about it. But I think certain things about it are interesting. For example, there's actually quite a few illustrations in here. It says illustrations by McSweeney. Nope. Ben McSweeney. And there's some like illustration about different defenses that the arithmetists draw to fight other arithmetists. Like, these are some of the chalkling instructions on like what you draw and how to direct them and stuff. Again, really interesting. I'm having a fun time. I think it's okay. It's very easy to read. I'm not loving our main character. He's just a teenage boy, you know, like an annoying teenage boy. Again, it's just a me thing, okay? I'm just not vibing with him. And the only female main character we have in here, but we don't get a perspective, but the only female character that we kind of follow in here is not really written well, in my opinion. I just think that she is written as this spoiled, whiny girl, and I don't like it. I definitely think that Brandon Sanderson's strength is always his world building and his plotting and the magic system. So this book is definitely hitting all those points. So I'm happy with that. I just finished The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I really enjoyed myself. I really like it. I'm glad that I read Arithmetist. This is one of Brandon Sanderson's first books. Like I said before, this reads very much on the younger side of YA for me personally. However, the world building is still detailed for a YA novel. So it was a bit conflicting as to how I felt, because the characters and the dialogue and everything felt a bit more younger YA, but the plot and the world building felt a little bit more upper YA, which I liked. I liked learning about the world and the chalk magic, which I thought was really interesting. But again, the geometry part, the maths part of it really went over my head, and I wasn't enjoying that most of the time. I feel like me not loving it as much as I thought I would is a me problem instead of the book problem. Like I said, was trying to figure out this mystery about these missing kids that were either kidnapped or murdered. And I liked how it wrapped up, sort of. Like, we definitely wrapped up the mystery in this, but there's a bigger plot going on that hopefully he will write more books about. But if I would put this as a series on my spreadsheet or not, no. If he does write a second novel, I'll consider it then. I think I'll keep this as like a standalone in my spreadsheet. Also, what's really interesting is that this world is kind of like a mirror world, or like a not a dystopian version, but like it's very much heavily inspired on the United States of America, because it's called the United Isles, and a lot of the states of the US is also one of the isles in this country. Like, there's a Texas Isle, a Denver Isle, Idaho Isle, Wyoming, Yellowstone, Albert, Montana, Manitoba. I know that's Canada, so it's kind of like all together. It was really weird to read, but like also really cool about this like reimagining of the US. Overall, I really liked it. I'm glad I read it, and this is off my physical TBR and now into the red pile. I think I'll keep this copy for now, for sure. This is the library copy, not my actual copy, but I'll keep my copy for sure and put it on the red section of my shelf when I get these books. Thinking about like me and my books right now all in my parents' house, I've been thinking like it's good that I'm doing this project, because the more I dwindle down my physical TBR and more books that I add to the red pile, I would feel more better shipping all of those books that I have read and loved here, instead of shipping all the books. The majority of them I haven't read. So this is good. This project is definitely helping me, one, feel more better about my collection, two, probably save me money in shipping all of my books if I just ship the ones that I've read and loved, you know? So this is great. But anyway, now let's pick the fourth book of this video. I'm very excited. I am very much in the mood for like a palette cleanser. I'm in the mood for a thriller, horror, or romance, which I know are in my physical TBR. Why I kept them in my collection in the first place, in case of moods like this. So I would like one of those books to come out, but I don't know. I have a lot of fantasy books on this wheel, so I am going to spin and see what we get. I will spin a max of 3 times to see if I can get one of my palette cleansers. If I don't get any, I will curate the wheel to have those palette cleansers on there. So I'm still getting a book down on my physical TBR. I'm in the mood for light and fluffy a little bit, even though thriller is not, but I'm in the mood for that. Not fantasy, basically. All right, as we can see here, this is the wheel. We're on 371 books right now, which is great. We'll go through my spreadsheet at the end of the video and then really see what the percentage is on the red books. So let's do a little bit of a shuffle. All right, let's do the spin. I really hope we get a palette cleanser, please. Oh, the bone season. I don't know about that. Okay, we'll spin again. All right, spin again, please. Palette cleanser, please. Ugh, Grey Sister, another fantasy. No, give me another one, please, 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 please. I just want a palette cleanser. But I fear I'm not that lucky, you know? Are you joking? Guys, no. Should I get a lottery ticket? We're going with this. We're going with this. How? You know what? I'm not gonna question it. I am not gonna question it. I'm not gonna question it. I'm taking this. Pull it up here. I'm reading The Reckoning, Zodiac Academy 3, and it was the exact one that I needed to read too. Not even like the other ones, guys. The wheel is really nice to me this episode. I'm scared for the other ones. I'm sorry if it's boring if I'm reading sequels or anything, but like I am so excited to read this because I've been thinking about Zodiac Academy since I started book 1, so the gods have listened to my prayers. I am going to enjoy this lovely Saturday and go sit on my couch and binge read Zodiac Academy and have a goddamn good time reading about Orion and Darcy, because how did this even happen? I recorded this whole thing and I just remembered I kept saying book 4 of this video. No, we're on book 3. Book 3, Zodiac Academy 3. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. It's been less than 24 hours, so tell me why I am 51% into this book. This book is not small. This book is 560 something pages, and I am 50% into it, and it's not been 24 hours. I stayed up till 2 a.m. getting to 50%. I fear I'm obsessed. I fear I'm in it. I fear I love this. To be fair, I think the characters are what is making me obsessed, because I feel like they're so well written, very fleshed out so far, and we're getting to know them and like getting to know the ins and outs of them, and like there's so much tension, yearning, slow burn. Like we're in the third book and only things just started happening, because obviously I said that, you know, they were bullies. This is a bully romance. The lines between them all are blurring, and I love to see it, honestly. And I've said before that my favorites are Orion and Darcy. I'm sorry, like I have some quotes that I need to share, like out of context quotes. This is literally me reading this book this entire time. Like I can't. One of the quotes where Orion says, "One look was enough to make me consider risking everything I'd ever work for. What if I don't want it to stop? Green or blue? Blue means you like me. In Solaria, blue means royal, and to me, blue means you." And then this is from Darcy. So she says, "I'm the sister who makes sensible decisions. I don't play games with the devil, and yet here I am tempting him with my own two hands." Okay, I need to calm down, but I can't. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with them. They're called the Twisted Sisters for something, and so far, I feel I'm safe. I think something happens in the fourth book that everyone was very upset about from what I remember, like when it first came out. So yeah, I am scared because something bad might happen and I don't know if I'm ready for it. But after Zodiac Academy 3, I have to jump into a different series so I can put off reading book 4 for a bit. Even if Zodiac Academy comes up on the wheel, I won't be reading it until I finish the other series. So it's the end of the line here, buddy. Was my Zodiac Academy luck. Also, I love how I said when I was trying to pick book 3 that I didn't want any fantasy. And here we are reading this. But to be fair, this focuses more on the characters than it does the plot. Like we do see plot in this, like it's building up to the end where things are going to happen. But the plot is the characters. We have our twins going through Hell Week, which is leading up to the Reckoning. And the Reckoning decides if students are going to be fully into the academy, and those that fail the Reckoning are kicked out. They have to prove whether they're Fae or not by doing these series of elemental trials and a series of trials to get to the Reckoning. You Zodiac Academy girlies, you knew what you were talking about. And I'm sorry I doubted you. I get it now. I get it. I'm in it. I'm in it. Book 3 of this video, Zodiac Academy 3, The Reckoning, has been finished. And to say the least, I had such a fun time reading this. It's only been like 2 days. I did stay up again till 2 a.m. finishing this for sure. And I think this is definitely so far my favorite of the series, just because we got to know the characters a bit more. We got to see the relationship dynamic between all the characters. And as I said before, the lines are blurred between them, but these relationships change all the time. One part they like each other, semi like each other, and then the next part they hate each other. And it's the will they, won't they, and the yearning that is getting me. And honestly, I'm here for it. And the way it ended, I am kind of not confused, but I'm interested to see what now. What's gonna happen now that this has happened? But I'm also kind of interested in the plot and the magic system. Like, these Fae all get categorized into an order, meaning they all emerge into a different type of creature when they're teenagers. So there's vampires, Pegasus, Minotaur, sirens, werewolves, dragons. Like there's so many on the list, but the Faes can emerge in one of the orders, and we're trying to figure out what the twins order is, and it's been fun trying to figure it out, and fun trying to like see little hints being thrown here and there. I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I'm still debating as to just continue on with the Zodiac Academy series, or do I go back and read the prequel series, Dark Fae. Apparently 1 or 2 characters show up in Zodiac Academy, but my mom, who's read all the series, she said just to read the Zodiac Academy series. Like, honestly, it doesn't really matter, because honestly, I'm not that interested in the Ruthless Boys series because it's a reverse harem series and I'm not that interested in a reverse harem, but I thought I'd give it a try just because maybe it might add to like the emotional stuff or like maybe the world building. I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on something by not reading that series first before diving into the rest of the Zodiac Academy series. Apparently it's more emotional damage if you go back and read the Ruthless Boy series before diving back into the Zodiac Academy series, and like I want to get the full experience, so I'm still thinking about what I want to do. Okay, here's our wheel. There's 370 books on there. Let's do a little shuffle. Okay, let's do spin for book number 4. I'm hoping we get something nice. The Sword of Kaigen. The Sword of Kaigen has been on my TBR for a long time, and it's one of the books that intimidates me. I don't know why, and it's a adult fantasy standalone that I feel like I'm going to love because a lot of my friends have loved it and they've told me to read it. So I guess it's time to read it. This book I actually have on my bookshelf. Here she is, Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. This was gifted to me by Kate for my birthday one time. So thank you so much, Kate, for gifting this to me. I am excited but also scared because, again, this book really intimidates me. And I believe this is the self-published version. I think it's still self-published. And I believe the ebook is also on KU, which, lucky me. I'm actually very happy that this came up. I'm finally getting this off of my TBR list and be in the know, finally, of reading Sword of Kaigen. I know our main character is a mother and she is trying to find her son. Not quite sure, but I will definitely report back and tell you what's going on. This will definitely take me a bit longer to get through, but I'm here for it, ready to immerse myself into this world and experience the story for the first time. So I'm about 40% into the book and it's taking me a little bit of time because I've just got a promotion at work and I have just been a bit overwhelmed and scatterbrained. I also have an issue with stuff at work, so my mind is just not here currently. But either way, I am really enjoying the Sword of Kaigen. Like, I am kicking myself a little bit of like why I didn't start this sooner. I really do like this a lot. It's really hard to tell you like the full scope plot of this book, but we're following main character Masaki and her son Monaru? No? Mamoru. I wrote down all the characters on my little notebook so I can remember who is who and who's related to who, because this is very much rooted in Japanese culture. If you know anything about Japanese culture, their surname comes first and then their actual name. So I need to like remember, so it's just easier if I wrote it down. But anyway, our main characters Misaki and Mamoru. Misaki grew up in a warrior family and she was sent to an academy to learn how to fight. And in Kaiganese culture, women are not allowed to be warriors. They're only there to be wives and mothers. But somehow Misaki was allowed to go learn how to fight, become a warrior, but then her parents forced her into a marriage and she had to stop being a warrior and become a wife and a mother instead to this powerful Kaiganese warrior family called Matsudas. And then we have Mamoru, who is Masaki's firstborn son, and he has an immense pressure of becoming the next Matsuda warrior. And in the Matsuda family, they do have a specific technique that they have to learn, and it's called the Whispering Blade, where they use their magic to create this blade that can cut through metal. In this world, we have elemental magic, I forgot to say. And in the Kaiganese Empire, most of them are waterbenders, or like jijakas, I think they're called. So we have Tajakas, which is the ability to control fire, Funyaka, control air, Jijaka, control water. And then we have sub-elemental magic, which has to do with strength, light, and sound. And in the Matsuda family, they're all water controllers, and so is Masaki and her family. Her family has a specific technique where you can manipulate the water in your blood, which is really interesting. And I see why people compare this to Avatar: The Last Airbender, because the water magic it has that vibe from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and also like blood manipulation as well. Mamoru finds out some information that turns his world and his perspective upside down. He doesn't know who to fight for, what is he fighting for, and he has to try and navigate that with the amounts pressures that he has being in the Matsuda family. And now there is a war brewing. Before, there is the Ranganese Empire who rebelled, and the Kaiganese Empire had to fight this war and push them back, and they have been dormant ever since. And now the Ranganese Empire, there's like war brewing right now, and they're wanting to take back the land. So I feel like the plot in this are basically the characters, which are Misaki and Mamoru, and their emotions and the decisions that they make. And yes, sure, the plot is the war that is brewing, but I really think that this book is focused so much on the characters, which I love. I am very, very invested in Misaki's well-being and also Mamoru's well-being as well. The magic system is really interesting. I'm always down for a bit of elemental magic. It's also definitely very action-packed as well because, again, the war is brewing and we're seeing how Mamoru is learning his magic and also training sequences of like how he's using his elemental magic to fight. And we've gotten one or two chapters about her past, and it's really interesting to see what she was like before, who she was before, and how she came to be here. I'm honestly just loving The Sword of Kaigen right now, and I cannot wait to finish this and also read Blood over Brighthaven, which is her other book. I've also seen the special edition of this. I can't remember where it's from, but this is the special edition, and the art is so beautiful. Like, my favorite thing about special editions is the character art. If that special edition has beautiful character art, like, that's all I need from it. I don't care about foiling or sprayed edges or sign, nothing. I really love character art. I am gonna go keep reading this and find out what's gonna happen. I fear that this is going to be sad. I fear that this is going to be sad, and I am not prepared. This might be bold of me to say this, but I think that R.F. Kuang wishes she was ML Wang. This is what I wanted from R.F. Kuang, but I didn't. There was no connection with like the writing style and the emotions, but this is where it's at for sure. So if you're like me and you are iffy about R.F. Kuang, I feel like this ML Wang is the girl for you. So try her out instead. So I am not okay. I am so not okay. I am devastated. 100%. I am on page 444. I'm about 70% into this book, and let me tell you, this book, I don't know if you can tell, but I love this a lot. And I really stand by my statement that R.F. Kuang wishes she was ML Wang, because ML Wang is doing what I wanted R.F. Kuang to do, but with just more emotions and more complex characters. I know R.F. Kuang has complex characters in the Poppy War, but I just couldn't connect to them. But in this, so much emotions in this, and I am very, very invested, and I'm so in love with Masaki. This is so devastating. This is like up there with the Greenbone Saga, with the Daevabad trilogy, and those are my favorite series of all time. This is up there. I love this. I haven't finished it, obviously, but like, the way ML Wang has written about war and the devastation of war and honor and valor and the emotions and like being a mother and what that means, but also who you are as a person even though you are a mom, and like connecting to your children even though you're forced to be a mom. It's just a lot of things that Misaki is going through, and the world you live in is so oppressive. How do you still be yourself even through that oppression? It's just, there's just so much. If you haven't read this, please please do. Like, I am very surprised at how invested I am in this, because this is a standalone and I am historically proven to be a series girly, because I get invested the more books I read, the more time we spend with our characters. But in this, Emma Wong does such a good job, and I cannot wait to read her other book, Blood Over Bright Haven. I'm so glad that I picked this up for this video project. This is why I wanted this video project. I wanted a push to read the books on my shelves because I could end up absolutely loving them. I don't know the potential that is on my shelves. So, thank you, random spinner wheel, for picking this for me. I just finished Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong, and I'm going to give this 5 stars. As I've said throughout while I was reading this book, I absolutely love this book. However, I kind of not qualms. There's certain things that happened. The direction that this book took was not what I was expecting, but I wasn't like disappointed about it. But I'm slowly coming to accept that this is what that was given, this is what that was told, and I shouldn't be asking for anything more, because the story isn't kind of linear, like there's a beginning, middle, and end. It's not the case. It's kind of like a glimpse in time, and you're experiencing this story and these characters, and you're just going through that journey. You just have to accept that this is the story that's being told about these characters, and you just enjoy the journey and the emotions. I don't know if this was meant to be a series or not, because there are some loose ends in here that are obviously not explored further. So I'm not sure if there was meant to be more books to explore those loose ends, or was it just really meant to be a standalone with loose ends that I don't know when to explore. It was really interesting to see them, because why introduce them if we're not going to expand on them? If you know anything about this, please let me know down in the comments. If there are more books set in this world following those loose ends or anything like that, I am just curious. Overall, I'm so glad that I finally picked this up, and it's definitely going into my favorite books of all time for sure. And there was a character in this that I didn't think that could be redeemed, but somehow ML Wong made a redemption arc within a chapter, and I fully forgiven that character. It's crazy. I know the whole point of this video is to get my physical TBR down, but I really do want to go and get a copy of Blood Over Bright Haven so I can read it. But what I'm going to do is practice restraint and actually go get the book when I'm going to read it, instead of buying it and keeping it on my shelves and then losing that momentum of wanting to pick it up because I have other books that I need to pick up. So I will get a copy when I get a copy. We're here to spin for the 5th and final book of this video, and I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but so far we've gotten good books, you know? So hopefully this 5th and final book will be good. I really want something easy and semi short, because like I said before, I desperately need something easy to read, because up here it's just really cluttered and foggy and I don't need anything dense right now. I'm gonna give 3 spins to hopefully something that I really want to read comes out naturally, and if it doesn't, I will make a new wheel with all my easy reads on there. So here we have a wheel minus all the books that I've read so far. Let's do some shuffling. Okay, first spin. Please, I really want an Ali Hazelwood romance, and I have, I think, 2 books of Ali Hazelwood on this. The First Sister, that's a sci-fi. Not happening. Next spin. Next spin. Any romance, any short fantasy books that I have that are not dense. The Last Thing He Told Me is a thriller. You know what? I am going to take this. Thank God. Okay, so The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I got this at a secondhand bookstore ages ago, and I've been wanting to read this. I don't know much about the thrillers that I have, only like what drew me into it. It's about this girl who marries her husband. Before he disappeared, he gave his wife a note that says protect her, and she finds out that he has a 16-year-old daughter, and this girl is just trying to figure out what happened to her husband and uncover his past and see what happened to him. I thought that was just interesting. It's giving Gone Girl a little bit, so I'm very interested to see how this thriller goes. And I'm pretty sure I can borrow it from my library because I don't have it here physically. I'm actually very excited. Hopefully it's a fast-paced thriller that I am going to devour. Alright, I finished The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I'm gonna give this 3.75 stars. I was very pleasantly surprised at how much I like this book. And in the beginning, I think I told you a synopsis about this book, and it's completely wrong now that I know what the story is about. So we're following a main character, Hannah, who has married Owen, and Owen has a 16-year-old daughter called Bailey. And Hannah is trying to win over Bailey as, you know, because she's stepping on her territory. She needs to show Bailey that she's not here to disrupt anything. She's just here and she wants to show her some love. But either way, while she's struggling to connect with Bailey, her husband Owen left her note saying to protect her, and then he kind of disappears off the face of the planet. So now Hannah has to figure out where Owen went. Bailey is also freaking out and she's trying to help Bailey also kind of figure out what's going on, what's happening to Owen, why he disappeared. And yeah, I thought this was going to be a murder mystery novel. I was very wrong, and I was kind of a bit disappointed, but once I got over that, I really enjoyed this story. I was intrigued. I was invested in the characters. Laura Day's writing is really good. She manages to interweave the stories from the past and the present by sprinkling some information from the past that is relevant in the present, and obviously the characters as well. I was feeling so much for the characters and what they were going through and what they were finding out. There's a couple of quotes actually that I really liked. Let me just bring it up. Oh yeah, this is one of the quotes that I wrote down. So it says, "This is the thing about good and evil. They aren't so far apart, and they often start from the same valiant place of wanting something to be different." And then this one is a bit of a long quote, so bear with me, but I really liked it. So it says, "How do you explain it when you find in someone what you've been wanting for your whole life? Do you call it fate? It feels lazy to call it fate. It's more like finding your way home, where home is a place you secretly hoped for, a place you imagined, but where you'd never been before. Home when you weren't sure you'd ever get to have one." But anyway, I thought I was going to read this and unhaul it, but no, it's going to stay on my shelves. I was very pleasantly surprised. I really liked it. The last scene of the book really got to me, like hit me in the feels. But anyway, that was the last book for this video. So now I think we should wrap it up. So from the beginning till now, I haven't looked at the spreadsheet. I haven't updated it. Nothing. So I don't really know what percentage of read books we have now. And I thought we could leave updating the spreadsheet and looking at the percentages at the end of the video. If you're not interested in that, let me know. I will change it up in the second episode. Maybe I'll give the percentages as I finish each book. And then at the end, if I've read any books behind the scenes or if I hauled any books, then we can look at the changes. But I thought for now, in this, we can go through the spreadsheet, update everything, and I'll show you what I've hauled and what I've read behind the scenes of this video. Let's go through the book that I read in this video quickly. What did I read? So the first book that I read in this video was Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae Book 2 by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, and I gave this one 4 stars. And then The Wheel chose The Rhythmist by Brandon Sanderson. This one I gave 3 stars. The third book that I read was Zodiac Academy The Reckoning, book 3 in the Zodiac Academy series by Caroline Beckham, Suzanne Valenti. And this one I gave 4 stars. I still can't believe the wheel chose Zodiac Academy again. That was a wild time. Will I get lucky the next time we do a wheel? Choose my TBR? I don't know. Honestly, I'll just take what I can get, and this video was very, very lucky. And then the 4th book the wheel chose was The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, another lucky pick because this is a 5-star read, one of my favorite books of all time now. So glad I picked this up. Again, please, from all these books that I read, please read this one for sure. And of course, the 5th and final book that the wheel chose was The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, which I gave 3.75 stars. So these are all the books that are going on the red shelf. I'm not unhauling any. I'm still thinking about the Arithmetist because I thought it was okay and not one of my favorite Brandon Sanderson books, but I will keep the Arithmetist for now to complete my Brandon Sanderson collection. Also, pretend The Last Thing He Told Me was also over here. Alright, I managed to read 5 books in this video, but behind the scenes I read one more off my physical TBR, and that is Wrath by John Gwynne. I read this for Catch Up Book Club. We already did the live show. I'll link it if you want to check it out. Really enjoyed this one as well. Great wrap to the series. So I will add this to the red pile for sure. And then in terms of hauled books, that will probably skew the percentages. Actually, no, it won't. You'll see why. Okay, so the first book that I hauled is Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance by Melissa K. Roarick. This is the 3rd book in the Legacy series, and I've read this. I just needed to complete my collection over here. So I've already read this, so it's not going to add to the unread percentage. It's going to add to the read percentage because obviously it's not on there because I read it through KU. So this will increase the read percentage, but I did go to a book signing and I got Of Flame and Fury by Michaela Bridge, and obviously I haven't read this one. This one is a YA fantasy that has Phoenix F1 racing. Really cool. Really excited to start this. She's a Melbourne author and I wanted to support her. So this one is going into the unread pile, but these two cancel each other out. One's read, one's unread, so there's no changes in the percentages, which is great. See what I did there? I'm really liking my book buying habits right now. So let me bring out my spreadsheet on my handy dandy computer here and we can fill out the spreadsheet and look at the final percentage. Okay, I'm gonna look a little sunny here because the sun has decided to come out. So here we have my spreadsheet. If we go to Vish's bookshelf, these are all the books. I have it filtered because I wanted to add to the wheel. So let's unfilter everything. So this part of the spreadsheet has my read and unread books. And then if we scroll over here, we can see the percentages. So before the start of the video, we were sitting on 43% read and 57% unread. So now let's go through and mark the books that we've just read. So first up is Zodiac Academy. So let's find Zodiac Academy. Cool. And then mark Ruthless Fae as read, The Reckoning as read. And then we have The Arithmetist here by Brandon Sanderson. We'll mark that as read. And then we had Sword of Kaigen. Mark that as read. And the last, actually not last one, The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. We've read that. And the last thing we read is Wrath. Mark that as read. And then another thing we should do is add the 2 books that we've just hauled, and that is, let me just drag this down. You add Of Flame and Fury by Michaela Bridge. I acquired it there. Perfect. And then Tempest of Vengeance. When was it published? I think it was 2020 by Melissa K. Roarick, and I acquired it this year. So now let's mark Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance as read. Let's sort this by author. Perfect. Alright, now let's look at the percentage. Alright, we have 44%. This is going to be a very slow project, I will tell you that. We went up by 1%. However, we did start with 373 books, and now we're on 368. So we're making progress, even though the percentages don't seem like they're going down or up very much, but we're making progress, and that is the point. All right then, so that is the end of this first episode of the 80% project. I need to figure out how we can really increase the read books on my shelves other than just reading a lot. If you have any other suggestions on how I can increase the read books on my shelves, please let me know. The percentage will increase if I also unhaul books as well, or like I take books off of the unread part of my shelves. So maybe I need to go through all the fantasy series that I have, because I do have a couple that I have the whole series of. So let's say if I do start a series and I don't want to continue, then that's like 4 or 5 books out of the unread pile. I could definitely do that, but I think we're in here for the long haul, folks. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this vlog project. I sure did. I mean, I found an all-time new favorite, and I managed to read more of the Zodiac Academy, which I really loved. I had such a fun time doing this episode, and I love the randomness of it. It made me want to read more. I've read more books this month than I have all year. I read 7 books in the month of July. I haven't done that in a while. So I'm very happy at how this vlog project has turned out. I'm very excited to continue. I am reading a couple of books right now before I jump into episode 2. And episode 2 is going to be a little bit different. We're not gonna do a wheel this time, just to switch things up, you know. I'm sure we'll get back to the wheel one day. If you have any suggestions, again, please let me know down in the comments. If you've made it to the end of the video, let's do a water emoji. I'm fine with that, or like a sword emoji if you want to. But anyway, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to. All my links to my socials and my book club is down below for you to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.